That's the sequence. So if you call our office and keep us
I don't know why I would have.
not at your desk or on another line, it'll ring to me. And if I'm on another line or something, it'll go to Chris.
Good morning. I'd like to call the council meeting of December 22nd, 2023 to order. Please take your seats.
Yes, sir.
Special intentions, Councilman Brannigan.
Oh, yes. Last week, we had a long-term Kenner employee that passed away, Mr. Eddie Cochran, at 83 years young. Eddie was a coach at Wentwood Playground 57 to 58 years ago, coached his kids. Eventually, he became the supervisor at Wentwood Playground, and he bled their colors. I think it was blue and white was the Wentwood colors. He then moved into the recreation department and moved up the ladder and ended up being, I guess you would call him the director. He was the top guy that we went to, and I had the pleasure of working with him when I was at Musperlino in the mid-90s on getting things done. Basically, he was a no-nonsense guy. If he told you he could do it, it got done. If he told you he couldn't do it, there's no way it was getting done. In this world, there's three kinds of people. People that make things happen, people that watch things happen, and people that have no idea what's happening. And Eddie Cochran was class one. He was a guy that made things happen. He had a couple of passions in his life, and I don't know if anyone knows it, but he was a runner and a cyclist. And I'm going to tell you, Eddie Cochran, I've seen him on Vintage, on Chateau Boulevard, out by the lakefront, on his bicycle, full gear. He looked like he was ready for the Tour de France. It was unbelievable. Then he was a runner, and I had heard that he ran in the first Mardi Gras marathon when they would run it across the causeway. And I don't like driving 24 miles, much less running 24 miles, but he ran in several of those marathons. He was a great guy, always positive. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about him. And when he left Kenner, he left it better than when, where it started. So, great guy. Please keep the Cochran family in your prayers today and over this Christmas weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Very good man. Councilwoman McKinney, would you lead us in the prayer and the pledge, please?
Yes, sir, Council President. Bow our heads. Lord, thank you for this day and the opportunity to come together to make decisions for our community and work together for the best of Kenner. Thank you for giving us your Son, Jesus Christ, and the holiday season to spend time with family, friends, and loved ones. May we cherish these times and look forward to the year to come. On this day, please give us direction, fortitude, and grace to deal with anything that may lay ahead. May we seek your guidance and work steadfastly in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk? Mayor Glazer.
Thank you. I got a couple of thanks, a couple of announcements, and a Merry Christmas to everybody if I forget to say it during these. Sipping with Santa a few weeks ago, a fundraiser for the Kenner Food Bank was very successful. The staff in my office and the girls at Chateau, they had a goal they wanted to reach, and they reached the goal. So, and we brought back someone, a former Kenner employee that ran it many, many years ago under the Yenny administration, Donna Russo. So she came back and helped my staff, the Chateau staff, and Mark Glorioso and a bunch of his staff. Very successful. So I'm happy to announce that they reached their goal of $100,000 going to the food bank. Very, very well done. Also, Wednesday, we had a basketball clinic at Mus Bertolino hosted by the Bonneville High School coaches and players. So I'd like to thank them. We had over 100 registered, a little less showed up, but I'd like to acknowledge that whole coaching staff and Micah Hagans for a job well done. Saturday, January 6th, we have a eclipse party at the planetarium. Starts at 11 a.m. Telescope viewing is from 11 to 3. I think the eclipse is full somewhere around 3 o'clock. I was told just now that the Kenner channels will be playing Christmas music starting Christmas Eve and all day Christmas Day, all day and all night. In preparation or anticipation of bad weather Sunday, our drop site will be closed. The latest, I guess, forecast is 4 to 5 inches of rain Sunday afternoon here in the metro New Orleans area, so abundance of caution. We'll close it and give people the advance notice. And with that said, this is Paris Vanette's last meeting with us. She is moving on to bigger and better things. Most of y'all don't know, she's thriving to be a U.S. diplomat. So if she ever reaches that, we all in a world of trouble, I think. So, but she's moving on to one of the federal departments, so her next step. So I'd like to thank her for a job well done. And that's it. You can have your energy presentation now.
Thank you. All right, we have a representative from Entergy at the request of Councilman Lahat. Jimmy, please, if you'd come up and introduce yourself. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. I don't know if this is on. Good morning, everyone. Jimmy Aiken, representative for Energy Louisiana, here today on behalf of Councilman Lahady.
Look, the one in front of you work? Well.
All right.
We wanted to keep it brief.
I'm trying. Jamie, thank you for coming today. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I want to thank you for always being responsive. Like, Energy is always very responsive to me, going back to, before I was even a councilman, on outages, storm claims, and anything. As you know, we spoke. I live in Driftwood. I'm in the area of the neighborhood that has underground power lines. And since I've lived there since 2018, we and the residents will all say the same thing. And the reason you're here today, because last Friday, we had an outage again for an hour. I had a party at my house. My wife was having a John Calvin party. She called me. A lot of residents called me upset. So it kind of boiled over last Friday. And let me kind of just go over the history. And I know we've spoken about this. Wait, still on? I know we've spoken about this. This is nothing to do with storm claims, nothing to do with hurricanes, totally different situation, And this is a conversation and a worry about basic outages that occur midday during the day when the sun's out. 12 months a year, Saturday morning in September this year, woke up, power's out for an hour. Your former representative texted me, there was an underground line that blew somewhere in your neighborhood, we're fixing it. Before then, there's been many other situations, any part of the year, where either all of North Driftwood, all of Driftwood, or South Driftwood, and I put this on the screen today that we talked about earlier, this red thing with basically all of Driftwood and everything west of Williams and Green Lawn totally out. And it happens sometimes for an hour. It happens sometimes for 60 seconds. And it's kind of a running joke in our neighborhood. You come home and the clocks are always blinking because the power went out again. And you don't buy a generator for the hurricane. You just got to keep the power on when the sun's up. And look, it's just not here to be cute or anything. And y'all are very responsive, and I know y'all are out there. And what the residents want, and I know you're going to explain a lot of this stuff today, is just a focus by you guys to try to understand where we're coming from, and we're just trying to fix this. And another thing I want to say is, back when Hurricane Zeta hit, this red area of Driftwood, we were the last area in all of Jefferson Parish to get power. We're out about 6 days. And I talked to the linemen several times while they were out there. And the linemen, a lot of them were from out of town, and they kept telling me, we don't understand your grid, we don't understand your underground system, Energy won't give us the plans. And they kept leaving the neighborhood, and they finally came back when everybody else was on, so they had to figure it out. There was about 20 people in that service area you told me about around Lake Trail, Shill Avenue is when the power came back on after Zeta. So if you can just explain what's going on, you know, what energy steps you're taking for the substation, the Pontchartrain substation, to alleviate my citizens' concerns, because I represent, you know, 10,000 people, and predictably they're upset, and we just want to know that there's an intent by Energy to try to actually fix the problem, and that's really all I want you to do today. And and I'm trying to get you out of here as quick as I can, because I know you spent your time today. I know it's Christmas time, but thank you so much for being here. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you all for having me here today. I do apologize that we're meeting under these circumstances. So just to kind of go back on what you were asking about the Driftwood area, you do have underground lines. They are serviced through 3 feeders that run off at David Drive. As we spoke about in this picture right here, the reason why David Drive and Lake Trail never seem to lose power when y'all do is because they're overhead power. The 3 feeders run down David Drive and then go into the underground feed between Vintage and David Drive back into your subdivision. We have run reliability reports since we last spoke and seen that you have incurred about 18 outages over the last 2 years, whether that be hurricane related, weather, severe weather related, equipment failure related on our end, public inflicted damage, etc. We understand that 18 outages is a lot of outages, and too many outages, in fact. Just to kind of speak on last Friday's incident, we did have a ground wire that tripped all the way back to the substation. The substation breaker did not function properly. It was supposed to close. It did not close, which caused your outage for an hour and a half last week. We are aware of the challenges that y'all are facing, and so we do have some plans in place in order to reduce the number of outages you see and improve and harden our grid and reliability in your area. The first thing that we're going to do in 2024 of Q1 is we're going to install 30 new poles, 40 cross arms, 120 insulators, as well as harden other equipment to improve the grid in your area. This is going to alleviate a lot of that pressure off the substation and off the breaker on that substation, which seems to typically blow in your area. Besides that, we have had some asset renewals that we've put back into that Pontchartrain substation between 2021 and 2023, with a major focus in 2024 is going to be replacing the T1 circuit switcher, which is over a $250,000 project that we plan to do at that substation Q1 in order to improve reliability in your area. In regards to your underground infrastructure, power lines underground, while they typically perform better than overhead, when they do have an issue arise underground, it's harder for us to identify and isolate the issue, just because we may have to bore underneath the concrete in order to identify the issue and get you back on. It's not like just going to flip a switch or whatnot on an overhead line. So that could be the reason why it took so long to get you back on with power for Zeta or Ida. I was not here for that. I do apologize, but I will certainly work with my team to identify some of the issues that we had that you experienced, that Driftwood experienced during that time, to try and isolate that issue and find out exactly what we can do better moving forward.
On the topic of the underground wire, what would cause a wire to break underground?
It could be a number of different things that can cause the ground wire or underneath wire to break. First and foremost, it just being old. I mean, old underground wiring is 99% of the reason why wiring goes out underground. Some other things, if a pole or something's hit by a vehicle and it pulls wiring out from underneath and causes a disruption, but 99% of the time it's just old wiring underneath the ground. Okay. And then also too, I wanted to speak. Yes, we do have an assistance program during major hurricanes and outages that we do bring other companies in from out of town to help us with storm relief. That was probably the issue. They weren't familiar with the infrastructure underneath. Like I said, I'll definitely do my research on that in order to better address kind of what happened during Ida, Zeta, et cetera, on why you did not get power back in an ample amount of time. Definitely we can always improve, as you know. We're not perfect, but we certainly are striving to upgrade our reliability and improve reliability, not only for your area, but for all of our customers as well.
And as long as energy, obviously you understand that the hurricane events, we see those coming, people can plan, but the power outages that happen randomly when people are working, or kids with developmental issues,
Right.
or people with health issues relying on machines, it's a totally different, life safety circumstance, in my opinion. So, look, I really appreciate your attention on this and your attention to the Pontchartrain substation. I've heard that phrase many times about something with that substation. If you're investing money with the connections and everything, I really do appreciate that, and to hopefully alleviate and to prevent this problem from happening again in the future.
Absolutely. And look, I'll be as transparent as possible. I will let y'all know exactly when we plan to do that work in Q1. I'm just trying to get, I think, with a lot of people out for the holidays and whatnot, when we come back in the new year, I'll work with our utility department, contract compliance, et cetera, and we'll go ahead and get those dates scheduled out on when we will actually be performing this work. And then I can come back to the council and let y'all know, these are the days that we plan on doing this work, and hopefully that'll, improve reliability, and you won't be getting as many calls from your constituents. So I want to thank everybody. I do apologize for the number of outages that you have seen. I'm always here. If you ever need anything, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I like to get back to y'all in a quick response, ample amount of time for us to do our work, kind of find out what's going on out there, and then I always try to give y'all an update on what we're seeing. But yes, we are reinvesting a lot of money back into that substation on Pontchartrain, which should alleviate a lot of the problems that you've been experiencing.
That'd be fantastic. Really appreciate
Yes, sir.
And next year, and look, Merry Christmas to you and your family, and Happy New Year. Thank you for coming today, okay?
Same to y'all. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Mayor, you done? Madam Clerk?
Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of December 7th, 2023. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2361-23, Driftwood Park Civic Association, to hold a public gathering on January 27, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the purpose of a parade throughout the Driftwood neighborhood. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember McKinney, to approve the consent agenda. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 8, public hearings. We have none. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and or alienation of immovable property. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution ratifying the acceptance of a grant from the Lupin Foundation on behalf of the Food Bank for the Department of Citizen Services. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. All council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,426. An ordinance approving an agreement with Materials Management Group Incorporated for lead-based paint hazard inspection services in an amount not to exceed $90,000 for the Department of Community Development. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood. Seeing no discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,427. An ordinance approving an agreement with Volunteers of America Southeast Louisiana for the Repair on Wheels program in an amount not to exceed $75,000 for the Department of Community Development. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,428. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Coburn's Supply Company Incorporated to supply sewer clamps, couplings, PVC, etc. on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 23-6799 and an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Department of Wastewater. Have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,429. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from ESI Incorporated to provide laboratory analysis services in accordance with sealed bid number 23-6800 and an amount not to exceed $100,000 annually for the Department of Wastewater. Have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,430. An ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of pump number 2 rotating assembly at 32nd and Maryland Lift Station by Fluid Process and Pumps LLC in the amount of $14,993 for the Department of Wastewater. Have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,431. An ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 4400027864 with Han Enterprises Incorporated to purchase playground systems and other related items on an as-needed basis not to exceed $500,000 annually for the Parks and Recreation Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney.
Mr. Elaine, may we get an explanation, please?
I can explain. So you're probably wondering why it's a $500,000 cap. We are going to utilize the state contract that Han already has existing for playground equipment. Let's see, I have the dollar amount here. $300,000. If you recall, there were 2 tot lots that were approved for Rosemary Minor and Betsy Hammond, and so we'll be utilizing this contract for up to $300,000. The cap's at $500,000 because we can also utilize the state contract to do any other repairs that may be needed for playground equipment and tot lots throughout the city.
Councilwoman? Councilman Wilmot?
Thank you. And that's some of the funds that we got or getting from.
Correct, they
Jefferson
came from
Parish.
Councilman Lee's office, yes.
Yeah, thank you. That's all.
Councilman Schwartz?
Where's the old equipment going? Do we have any old playground stuff that's there that we're removing? That's already, at those 2 playgrounds?
They have existing pads for the tot lots.
But do they have swings?
Charles could
sleds,
probably elaborate
anything there now?
on the state contract or at the existing locations. Charles can go into more detail on what might be existing at those locations now.
Councilman, there is existing tot lot equipment that's old, broken, and that's why we're replacing this, as well as the actual pad. I know I've spoken to a number of you guys with, there's a number of rubber surfaces all throughout the city that need to be completely redone because it's all the way down to the slab. So above and beyond the 362 that's specific for Rosemary and Betsy, the additional funds, as much as possible, we would start repairing all those rubber surfaces throughout the city. It's a lot.
I was just wondering where the old stuff is gonna go.
They remove it. No, it's not anything we could reuse. Yes, sir.
Do you want to slide at your house or something?
At the swimming pool.
Thank you.
That's the part of the pool that we built.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,432. An ordinance approving an agreement with Digicom Systems Incorporated for software and hardware system upgrades and other projects on an as-needed basis at an amount not to exceed $250,000. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance approving amendment number 2 to the agreement with Crow and Associates Incorporated to provide ditch spraying services on an as-needed basis, increasing the not-to-exceed amount by $50,000 annually for the total not-to-exceed amount of $90,000 annually for the Department of Field Services. Item 16B is an order to approve an amendment number 1 to the agreement with Romelli Janitorial Service Incorporated to provide grass cutting of rough cut areas, ditch slopes on an as-needed basis, increasing the not-to-exceed amount by $50,000 annually for a total not-to-exceed amount of $105,000 annually for the Department of Field Services. Item 16C is an ordinance to approve an amendment number 4 to the engineering agreement with Digital Engineering and Imaging Incorporated dated March 22nd, 2019 regarding Loyola Drive and I-10 interchange connection to the new terminal of the New Orleans International Airport, state project number H.011670, federal aid project number H011670, City of Kidder project number PW-2019-4-AR to increase the not-to-exceed amount by $20,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $403,000 and to extend the term of the agreement by 1 year to March 20th, 2025 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16D is an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with Principal Engineering Incorporated regarding 25th and Salem Sewer Lift Station, Kenner Public Works number PW-2023-3-SW, and an amount not to exceed $193,559.88 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16E is an ordinance approving a professional services agreement with Stewart Consulting Group Incorporated regarding 25th and Helena Sewer Lift Station, Kenner Public Works number PW-2023-4-SW, and an amount not to exceed $195,752 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16F is an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement with KidCam LLC for the use of Most Bertolino Gym in exchange for summer recreational programming for the Parks and Recreation Department. Item 16G is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a Faro Focus Premium 3D laser scanner system from Faro Technologies Incorporated, a sole source provider, in the amount of $63,515.67 for the Kenner Police Department. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees. Seeing none. Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. John Michael Edelman. If you would please state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Good morning. My name is John Michael Edelman, and I just wanted to ask a couple of questions for clarification regarding EMS contract for the city of Kenner. I was wondering, is there currently an active contract for EMS services in the city of Kenner?
Mr. Edelman, if you'd ask your questions, and then we'll let those questions be answered, please.
You want me to ask them all at one time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does the city of Kenner have a current contract for emergency medical services? If not, why not? Can you confirm or explain why Acadian Ambulance Service keeps coming up in the conversation? Due to the fairness of since 2009, they've contributed over $10,000 to some guys in this room and Jefferson Parish-wide politicians for their campaign, in the form of campaign contributions, which is totally legal, not questioning it. I just want to clear up that maybe there's a conflict of interest there. Also, the last contract I have seen was dated 2012 to 2015. It was signed in 2011, and it stated it was only current for 3 years. It didn't say anything about being perpetual or whatnot, and considering that company no longer exists, it's now LCMC. That's all.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, there's a current contract with LCMC that carried over when it was East Jefferson General Hospital. It's a privately run company. Sorry, but it's musical chairs with these seats. I got the one that shrinks as you're talking. So, yes, we have a contract. It's due to automatically renew next month. The issue that we've been having over the last 18 months, since it's a privately held company, is there's no units available. So someone dials 911 and expects an ambulance to show up. Their response is, no units available.
Can I touch on that 1 second?
You can.
Thank you very much. In regards to no units available, it's fair for the general public and the citizens of Kenner, and as far as anybody that lives in Kenner, to know. I don't know if you've ever passed 716 Village Road or 2401 Idaho. Those are two nursing homes, or nursing homes, for just to make it easy. Those actually have contracts with AMED and Acadian. I could tell you as an LCMC employee that I haven't had a shift in over a year that I haven't responded to a call there, either one. So every time you see an LCMC EMS unit at either of those places, that's an ambulance that should be going to a citizen of Kenner and not there because AMED or Acadian didn't have the available unit. That call goes straight to Acadian and our AMED's call center. They say we don't have any units available, and that gets kicked to 911 because there's no passing the ball past 911. That's where the buck stops. So I think it's an unfair shake on LCMC's part that they don't have units available when they're too busy helping out Acadian and AMED take care of their obligations. So if Acadian's not taking care of their obligations to a couple of nursing homes, how can they provide EMS to a city of the size of Kenner? It's not a business. It's,
Acadian is not providing any service to the city of
no,
Kenner.
it hasn't, but they keep coming up in the rumor mill. I was wondering if y'all could touch on the Acadian rumor mill. Are y'all considering Acadian for the next contract, or is it set?
We're not going to, legal.
Does that contract go to bid?
Yes.
Because then that would make it public information.
Why don't you do this, Mr. Edelman? Why don't you give Ms. Dufresne one of your cards, and y'all can have a discussion after the
Sure.
meeting or over the phone or something. And she's our city attorney, and she could probably respond to your answers.
I appreciate it,
Questions.
and thank you for having me.
But the question or the problem we have in the city of Kenner is LCMC. When a policeman or a fireman needs an ambulance, there's nobody coming. That's it. So they go to the next thing. They put them in a car and drive them to to a hospital. So, I mean, when no units are available, something's wrong.
Sure.
If I owned the company, you would never hear no units available. It may be a delayed response, it may be something, but no units available means no one's responding to this 911 medical emergency other than fire and police.
Yes, sir.
It's uncalled for in the size of the city of Kenner.
Absolutely. Look, I'm a Kenner fireman full time. I get it. I'm the one coming.
Okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Al Morella?
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. First of all, I want to commend our General Services Department and our Parks and Recreation. First and foremost, the workers, and then the directors, Mark Glorioso, General Services, and Charles Aline with Parks and Recreation. I'd like these two guys to stand up and be recognized, and let's give them a round of applause. This is the best I've ever seen Heritage Park look at Christmas time. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful that I've been promoting it everywhere I go. Now, since we're on this, a little bit of history. The first nativity scene appeared in 1223 in Italy, Italian by the name of Francis, who's now St. Francis of Assisi. Now, let us never forget the reason for the season. And I want to take the opportunity to wish all of the residents of unincorporated Jefferson Parish and the city of Kenner, all of our employees, including the administration in Jefferson Parish, the parish council, the city council of Kenner, and the administration of Kenner, a very blessed and Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year. And through the grace of God, it will be a good year for all of us. Anybody got any comments, any questions? The voice is a little weak, but it's still loud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morella. Mr. Greg Taft?
Greg Taft, 5th District. I just want to make just a couple comments. One, I want to direct this to the city. In the medium on West Loyola, people are still dumping trash. And what is sad is I've watched it in the last couple weeks. Code has been in that area at least a minimum of 3 times. I've seen city officials in that area, a couple times, but yet today that debris is still sitting in the medium. Now, apparently the Councilman Brennan went to a great extent when he had the signs put up for the ordinance on dumping trash in the medium. But unfortunately it happens, and in this case it moved from in front of a house to the medium. And so I'm just concerned that somebody's not reporting it, or it takes a citizen to report it, because if I report it to the council office, it'll get picked up right away. And I don't understand why, if you have somebody from code or a city official that's doing something in that area sees it, that they just ignore it. I don't know. But anyway, it's a concern. The other thing I just want to say is I want to wish all the employees of Kenner, including the administration, the citizens of Kenner, a happy and prosperous holiday for Christmas and the New Year, and I hope that everybody is safe, that nothing comes up, no catastrophes or anything, because we all need good things to happen over the next couple of weeks, because we've been through a lot this year. And I thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Tapp. Seeing no other persons